Stop. This goes at the beginning. So what I did last night, I took my handy dandy ATV motorcycle Harbor Freight jack and I just put it underneath this valance. And then I loosened everything on the core support. So there's 4 bolts on this side, 4 bolts on that side, and then everything along the fender to the cab side. So this whole thing was kind of loose. This piece, your hood set stays because it's bolted to the core support. So this just floats. And then I jacked it up a little bit with that jack, and that moved everything up. And I kind of shoved it and bounced it, maybe gave it a couple whacks to, you know, shock it into place. Then I tightened everything back up on the front, and then I went to the back side and kind of got the fenders lined up on the back side and tightened those up. And so that's how we got to this spot. And then the only thing I have left is this one little gap right here. And I actually think I'm going to beat the crap out of that, and I'm going to fix it. I might be able to tweak it a little bit more in and balance it out on both sides by tweaking that core support a little bit. But then my side gaps look good. I'm a little low on this fender. My hood can actually go back. Get everything set. It's black, so it's hard to see. There's a gap here. This is angled a little bit, angled back, and then there's a finger here and it tapers down. When I get my pads on the top, that'll push this out a little bit. Bring this down. When you lock it in. And then this side is much better. So it fits here. Still got a little bit of an angle right there. Remember, there's none of the rubber bumper pads on. There's nothing on the tip. I don't have the handle on here to tighten down the hood latch and snug it up. And then this right here bothers me. This fender edge has to get trimmed up a little bit more because it got into the paint on that part when I was putting it on. So it's got the wrong angle on it. Because if I came up to match, then this whole thing would be tilted up. And it actually needs to tilt a little bit down. This is not bad for first attempt putting together an 80-year-old truck with other people's work, other people's problems, and getting everything kind of semi-lined up. I have a stick in my hand. It's straight. If we lay it up here, it tracks along this line, right? I still haven't hooked up this piece down here, but I don't think that's important right now. Because I was trying to get the fenders on and the grill on and the hood on and everything lined up for pre-fitment, right? Pre-fitment. This is not the final color. This gets chromed. Y'all relax. But when I first put it on, I had some huge gaps up here. These gaps are better. And if we line this up with the tip of the grill, it's all straight, right? So that's good. I solicited the internet for some ideas on how to line this up. Some of it was helpful. Let's just leave it at that. So if we look here, this is about a 1/2 inch gap, 1/4 inch. This one looks pretty good. So what I did is I tightened up that's not going to work. Let me move this more. So I tightened this up and that sucked this thing in, right? And then this side is not tightened up, but I have this lined up with the edge of the hood, and I kind of like it right here. I know from earlier that the front end of this thing got mushed because that big scoop pin is all mangled up. And I think, I mean, if you give it the business, it's pretty good. One of the valuable comments was my radiator core support is probably a little tweaked. And that's probably true. I didn't really, I mean, I lined it up with my eyeballs when I put it in there, but I didn't measure it or anything. So for second fitment, we'll do that. And then I think that this hood right here is just probably a little bit caved. So if we pull here, it just moves it a tad. But if you look really close, there's a black line. This black line where they oversprayed it. And we're pretty much lined up with that. So I can try some hammer work. There's a dent right here. And then there are supposed to be some little rubber doodads that sit here and here and here that this lip sits on. So when we get those, that might help us out. And then I think what we're going to do is shift to the bed and get the bed assembled and put on there, because number one, I got to figure out a gas tank, and number two, I got to figure out some welding stuff back there, and I have a complete bed kit waiting to go together. I think I have enough room, I do, to put it together over there, and then we'll see what happens. That's just a long extension. This is part of the reason why I like these socket cap screws. But this is also just a demonstration on the rib nuts. So this gets bolted to this. And then same thing over here. So if we had to hold a nut back there, I mean, you could stick your finger back here and hold the nut, but you couldn't stick your hand back there to hold the nut. And if you stick your finger back here to hold the nut, you can't get the bolt in. So, you know, work smarter, not harder. I have these that are 5/8. And those will work. That works good. Okay, so I probably don't need those 1/4 inchers. All right. I like it. Headlight bucket. We sprayed it inside and out with Pour 15 so no more rust. I went ahead and put this back piece on. And then it was held in with some clips for some sheet metal screws for the top piece with the turn signal. And we're going to use that. I probably should have been paying attention. I think it's this. I can check. Sometimes I wonder about you, kid. Yeah, so this one. So we're going to go ahead and tap it. Too late now, huh? Not really. It's never too late if you have a welder. Why use sheet metal screws when you don't have to? That's the way I look at it. And then I don't have any 1032s that are long enough, so we're going to have to measure. Really? Okay. We'll go with that. Inch and a half. And 2.5. Okay. So these only go on one way. There's a left and a right, right and a left, whichever side you're looking from. The rubber seal is something we're going to get later for final assembly. the welting and all that other kind of stuff. But you get the general idea. So I think that concludes pre-fitment front assembly riv nut install. Now we can move over to the bed. This is an entire bed kit from Marquet. So I got everything. I got the wood. It's not here in the boxes. It's in storage because we really don't need that right now. We have to put this together. So I took the liberty and did some upgrades, and we'll talk about that as we go along. But we're going to save that for the next episode. Thanks for watching. Have a good day. And we're going to get, that's part of the stuff we're, so this is an entire bed kit from Marquet. M-A-R-K, whatever. Because we really don't read that.